WWE made a big announcement today. News about a tag team that's getting a new name. A former WWE star returned to the ring, and fans aren't happy about it at all. Why Cody Rhodes needs to win at WrestleMania. And what's going on with the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll have more on this today in Wrestling News Updates. All right, guys, before we get started, I want to mention the 100,000 subscriber giveaway. Subscribe to this channel to enter. Once we hit 100,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away an official replica of the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, the belt currently held by Roman Reigns. All you got to do is subscribe to this channel to enter, and then I will be giving it away when we hit 100,000 subs. I'll be doing more giveaways. I'll be doing ticket giveaways. I'll be doing other belts. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions on what to give away for future giveaways. Let me know. Put it in the comments and just let me know, and I'll consider that for the future. I wanted to touch on the first thing, Cody Rhodes. I know there's some people wondering, look, is Roman Reigns going to retain so he can break Hulk Hogan's record in September? I honestly don't think WWE cares about that. I think WWE cares more about what's best for the story, what's best for business. I think the best thing to do right now is Cody Rhodes should win. If you see him, he's the guy that wrestles on more house shows than anybody. I think it's time for him to win that belt. And he's talked about bringing back that old winged eagle title, so we may see that after WrestleMania. Last night, there's a video going around of Cody going into the crowd and talking to a blind fan. This is the second time this has happened, so just so you know, this is a new thing that happened last night. This a couple weeks back, this happened. A blind fan wanted to meet Cody, or Cody saw a sign and he went up to that blind fan and he hugged them. So this happened again last night. If you go to a house show and Cody's in the main event, Cody is going to go out and he's going to shake everyone's hand. He's going to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it takes, to say hi to everyone around ringside. He genuinely loves what he's doing. Fans love the guy. Right now, I think you risk more negativity from fans towards the product if you don't put the belt on Cody at WrestleMania. I think this is the perfect time to do it. This is the guy to lead the company. You can still do The Rock versus Roman Reigns next year. It doesn't have to be for a belt. And then now you put the belt on Cody, and then you have him move on to his next program, whoever it's going to be against. So I think this is the time. I think he's going to win it at WrestleMania 40 at this year. I don't think, if he doesn't win it this year, there's no way you can do this match next year. Next year, it's probably going to be Roman versus The Rock. So this is the time to do it. Patrick Clark, the Velveteen Dream, returned to the ring, and it's a very controversial move. For those of you that don't know, Clark was accused of sending inappropriate messages and photos to minors. For what it's worth, for his part, Clark told Chris Van Vliet that he did none of that. There have been no charges filed. Obviously, he's not in prison, so he says he's done nothing wrong. And basically, he's been framed, and there's just some anonymous people online made some stuff up about him. The perception on him, is very negative on social media, on Twitter. It's not been good. The Dynasty promotion in Albany, New York, made the decision to bring him in for a show over the weekend, and they're standing by it. They put out a statement saying, last night, we did what others wouldn't. We took a risk on a person and gave them an opportunity for a second chance. A second chance to fulfill their dream. They capitalized dream. We stand by that decision. Thank you for the packed house for last night's event. So we'll see. This could be perhaps other promotions decide to open the door on Velveteen Dream, but based on the reaction on social media, some promoters might be hesitant to bring him back. I don't know what you guys think about that. Do you think promoters should be working with him, or should they stay away from him? Well, now let's touch on a WWE tag team has a name, finally, after a few weeks. And WWE has filed the trademark for New Catch Republic. So that name is for Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, formerly Butch. Last Friday on SmackDown during a backstage segment, Tyler Bate suggested that they come up with a name, and Tyler Bate, he suggested that name, the New Catch Republic. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't feel one way or the other, good or bad. I think, people will get used to it. Look at Gunther. He was Walter. People protested the name Gunther, and now everyone's used to it. So I think that's what's going to happen here. I know people are going to hate the name at first, but you'll get used to it. So I have no feelings one way or the other. But I do, by the way, I want to say I do like what Triple H is doing with them. Pete Dunne especially, he's getting focused on now being a serious wrestler. The Butch thing where he was running around kind of sort of like a leprechaun, that was a Vince McMahon thing. That's what Vince does. But I'm glad he's back to being Pete Dunne. And hopefully, good things come for this tag team. I like the New Catch Republic. And maybe we'll see a tag team title run out of them maybe later in the year. The final thing I wanted to touch on today, actually two more things I wanted to touch on today. WWE announced today that the fan access events at WrestleMania have been renamed The World. Apparently they're going big with this, much bigger than they have before. I'll read what they sent out today. They sent us a press release today, basically that says WWE World at WrestleMania will feature a variety of immersive experiences for fans, including a central main stage that will host roundtable discussions with top WWE superstars, a WWE 2K24 gaming tournament, live podcast recordings, live memorabilia, and autograph sales through Fanatics Live, and the largest WWE superstore in WrestleMania history. The event will also feature exclusive merchandise, autograph sessions, and meet and greets with WWE superstars and legends, in addition to immersive exhibits and memorabilia honoring WrestleMania's 40-year history. It sounds good to me. Part of me wonders if the podcast stuff will be aired somewhere, maybe on Peacock or whatever, but I think that's pretty cool. That's kind of the stuff what the live podcast Inside the Ropes has been doing that. Podcast Conrad Thompson has done that at StarCast. So WWE's jumping on that now. We'll be interested to see how it all looks and what else they do. And interested to see Steve Fall's going to be out there WrestleMania weekend. So we'll get you a live look, a tour of everything, just so you guys can see what everything looks like. And I'm interested to see just how it all turns out. And the final thing, speaking of WrestleMania weekend, is the WWE Hall of Fame. WWE has yet to announce who's going in this year. In previous years, before they dropped it down to 5 names, and up until 3-4 years ago, they would usually announce the headliner on the weekend of the Royal Rumble. Now, they would do that because that was a way to kick off ticket sales and they give an extra boost to the ticket sales. Now, with the Hall of Fame happening after SmackDown, there's less of a rush to announce names that far ahead because tickets are going to be sold regardless because SmackDown is going to be there on the night before WrestleMania. So I'm interested to see who they induct. I know Batista was supposed to go in during the pandemic. The story was from his side that he didn't want to go in, or he couldn't go in because of commitments. Some believe that maybe he didn't want to go in because, there were no fans there and inside the Thunderdome. I could see that. I understand why. If I was him, I would want to hold off too. Who should go in this year? Now, let's just say it's going to be 5 names because they're not, they want to cut down the time in the Hall of Fame because they don't want people sitting there after SmackDown, sitting there for another 4 hours, 5 hours, or whatever it is. So they've cut down the names to 5. So let's just go with 5 names. If Batista doesn't go in this year, these are the names I think should go in. Paul Heyman. Everybody knows Paul Heyman ran ECW for most of its existence. Paul Heyman also started out as a photographer, learned from some of the greats like Dusty Rhodes. He worked in the NWA as a manager, managed Dangerous Alliance, managed a ton of people. Then after ECW, became an announcer, worked behind the scenes on creative, managed became the advocate for Brock Lesnar, now managing or advocating for Roman Reigns. He's helped dozens, maybe hundreds of people behind the scenes over the years. There's tons and tons of stories. I mean, I'd say he's probably one of the most influential guys in the history of pro wrestling ever. So Philadelphia is the time where you induct some ECW names, and Paul Heyman should be there this year. Sid, a name that I think should have gone in many years ago. I don't know if there's any bad blood with WWE and Sid. I don't know. I know Sid was labeled as someone who was not always reliable because he was during the summer months, he'd like to take off to go play softball. But look, Sid, He had a presence. He wasn't the greatest at promos, but he made up for that by his style, and he was very intense. Two-time WWE champion. I think it's time for Sid to go in. Another name that should be in is Lex Luger. I think when Vince McMahon was in charge, I think he wouldn't have put Lex in because Lex needs assistance to move around because of his spinal issues and just how, his appearance. These days, he doesn't look like the Lex Luger of old, but he's, he said this on his podcast. He's healthy. Mentally, he's sharper than ever. And if he ever got the call to go into WWE Hall of Fame, he's going to walk across that stage to accept his award. So I'd love to see that. This year would be a good time to do it. Another name that definitely should be in, I think, this year in Philadelphia should be Tommy Dreamer. He was the heart and soul of ECW. In addition to that, everybody knows he wrestled for WWE and TNA, and he did a lot of stuff behind the scenes at WWE as well. Helped a lot of the talent. He's also working backstage at TNA. According to who you talk to, either he's in charge of creative or he's a member of creative at TNA these days. Either way, him working in TNA, I don't think would prevent him. Now, since WWE was able to work out something for Jordan Grace, I'm sure they could work something out for Tommy Dreamer. And they worked something out to get Ric Flair many years ago. So maybe they could work something out here to get Dreamer for the Hall of Fame. That'd be nice as well. There's a bunch of other ECW names that can go in as well. I think Taz would be great, but he's in AEW, so who knows? That may not happen anytime soon. Sabu is another one that I think, deserves to be in. The final name, so I got Paul Heyman, Sid, Lex Luger, Tommy Dreamer, and the fifth name I think should be in and should have been in a long time ago is Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper was crucial. She brought in tons of attention to WWE that they never had up to that point. The most buzz the company ever had. And, they weren't in the best financial shape. Vince McMahon had said this in his documentary. If WrestleMania wasn't a success, then there would be no WWE. The company would have went under, probably. Who knows? Cyndi Lauper helped get WWE, WWF at the time on MTV. With the crossover, the Rock and Wrestling Connection crossover. Again, it was her and Mr. T. Obviously, Hulk Hogan, played a big part. Roddy Piper also played a huge part. But from a celebrity standpoint, getting them outside eyeballs, people that never watched the product, Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T were two of the biggest parts of WWE's history as far as from celebrities coming in. Mr. T's already in. Cyndi Lauper should have been in years ago. And if anybody's wondering, maybe she turned them down, she did it. She said this on about 4 or 5 years ago. She was asked about this on Twitter, and she said that she's never been asked. So be a good time now to bring her in. I think last year in LA would have been a good time, but hey, let's do it in Philly. Get Cyndi Lauper into the WWE Hall of Fame. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for subscribers to the channel. Don't forget, 100,000 subscribers. Subscribe to this channel. When we hit 100,000, I'm going to be giving away a undisputed WWE Universal Championship, an official replica belt from WWEshop.com. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.